I developed a love for making up music when I was a toddler. I came from a non-musical family, but there was a little piano in the house, and one day I crawled up on the bench and found out what happened when you mash the keys down. And I always say, part of me is still that little kid on the bench, pressing down the keys and being totally amazed at what happens. By the time I got in high school, I had a fair amount of experience as a violinist and as a trumpet player. But I also had been writing, and I wrote music for my high school band, when I was a kid. And it was amazing. And it was one of the interesting things about my high school is that there was no gender issue at all. When you first got in the band or the orchestra, you got the very last chair, but you could challenge your way up to the top. And the challenge auditions were held behind the screen. This was before they did it with professional orchestras. I got to write for the band. I got to conduct the band and the orchestra, and nobody even brought up the idea that a girl couldn't do this or couldn't get higher up on the scale, so to speak, than a boy. And so I just have been kind of at the right place at the right time throughout my life. And I consider myself very fortunate. I don't consider myself a trailblazer or anything. I consider myself a fortunate person at the right place at the right time. I think it's a mistake to get too exact about your place in the world as a composer. Something I bring up once in a while is that when Bach was alive, his two sons, KPE Bach and JC, were much more famous than he was. They represented a new era, so to speak, and Bach was considered this kind of older church musician. He wasn't as considered as important as his sons. And not that they were very good musicians, but their music hasn't had the staying power that his has. And we never know. I mean, you might write something thinking it's going to be a one-off, and it catches on and people really want to do it all over the place. And you might write something else you feel is just very deeply inviting compositor. I mean, the audience, and it doesn't go. You cannot think in terms of either historical preference or stylistic ideas. You cannot think about that when you're writing music, in my opinion, because it's all irrelevant. And it changes from minute to minute, not to mention year to year. I just, would like people to play my music, and I don't want people to not play my music because I'm a female. I don't want them to play my music because I'm a female. My joy in life is when people really want to play my music and do it very well, and that's my biggest prize. People view composers, and that's a good part of what this whole thing is doing, and that I've always tried to do in anything I was involved with. Living, breathing creatures, we're not perfect, we're not gods, we're not this, we're not that. We're just people, and we're people with a great desire to reach out to other people with music. And when a young person sees an actual composer, not a marble statue, I think that's wonderful. I always say that I think the world should be run like chamber music, where I listen to you, you listen to me, and we make something bigger and better than the two of us, rather than all the divisions that you see in the world today. And somehow or other, I think music can bring people together. Well, I have to say that I'm honored by this, and I think it's a great idea to have this kind of an institution. And I applaud Tanya. I know she's, not only a fine composer, but somebody who's interested in helping the rest of the world and so on. So I thank you for doing this, and I'm honored to have a part in it.